Alright, guys. I am gonna go ahead and dive into a Wingeria Let's Play. Now, there are some questions that you guys are probably thinking about. Am I still continuing my Hot Doggeria Let's Play? Yes, I am. But I'm probably just gonna mainly focus on this one for a while, since Papa's Hot Doggeria can get a bit overwhelming at times. And then the other question you're probably wondering is, am I going to premiere this? No, I'm not. Like I mentioned in previous videos, I'm a bit limited on premiere slots because Green Ethan is currently on vacation, and when he gets back from his vacation, we will only have a week and a half, and then I'll be going on my vacation. Well, I'll say possibly because it hasn't worked out, but this year it might finally work out. But I've mentioned this multiple times already, but yeah. We are gonna try to go to New Mexico once again. Rio Dosa, New Mexico. I know my character looks like Mandy, but we're kind of limited with hairstyles and just, other stuff. And, the hairstyle has streaks. I don't currently have streaks in my hair, but I do often have a swing bob haircut, so that's the closest thing. But, yeah. I guess I'll play through the intro. Yeah, it takes place in April. I thought it was really smart how in Papa's Wingeria to go, the first holiday was Onion Fest, which is May, and then the pre-holiday part of the game, was, the month before May, which again is April. But yeah, like I said, we're kind of running low on premiere slots because Green Ethan, I know you probably have other vacations coming up after my vacation, possibly even Gearing, and then you're already going to be moving into university a month from now, which you can still do premieres. It'll just have to be on the weekends, like you said. So yeah, that's why I'm releasing some of these videos without premiering them, because I want to save certain videos for premieres. Like I said, when you get back, I do want to premiere my 2 holiday episodes in Wingeria to go. This is the web version, as you can probably tell, but yeah. Okay, good. Whew! I thought I was gonna get docked on the sauce station, because it gave me a good and not a great, the sausage station can be a bit strict. It's always been my least favorite station in the game. Actually, not a month from now, but a month and a half from now. I was thinking of July 15th. You know, because that's the day I go on my vacation, but... You know, when my vacation, the day of I go to New Mexico comes, you know, you'll be, you know, moving to university will be exactly a month away. I'm not gonna worry about mini games right now. Oh, haha. And hopefully you guys can hear me. Matter of fact, I'll try to move my mic a little bit closer. Alright, that should do it. So I see James and Mindy. But yeah, we are running, like I said, we are going to be pretty limited when it comes, you know, this summer when it comes to premieres, due to both of us having vacations. I'm still unsure about how long my vacation will be, but sometimes we have stayed on vacations for longer, but the average time we usually are on vacations is 3 or 4 nights, so I'm assuming that we'll probably be back on the 18th or 19th. You know, for some reason, my dad's been very vague with the details. He never even told me when we were going. I had to wait till a good time to ask him, so yeah. That's an issue that happens sometimes, is like sometimes he fails to keep me up to speed on things. He assumes that I already know everything because I can just overhear him and my brother talking, which I sometimes can, but there might be times where I have my headphones in, or like I'm in the shower, or I'm asleep, you know. I don't always hear what's going on, so. And then it has caused frustration in the past, too. Not just vacation specifically, but just happenings in general. Like, for example, back in May, I wasn't aware of my grandparents going on Hawaii until they started talking about it. So I was getting all stressed out, and then my dad gets mad at me. He tells me off, and it turns into some big lecture. He just cannot understand for the life of him about my struggle with the whole dog situation. I know I bring this up a billion I've brought this up a billion times, my possible books, but oh my goodness. It's very, very, very important. Especially for probably for neurotypical people too, but especially for neurodivergent people, that we are brought up to speed when it comes to stuff. Especially when it comes to things we don't like or things we are apprehensive about. It's very important, like I said, to keep us notified and give the details about it if you can. That's definitely something I'll be covering in my books that do pertain to neurodiversity, such as my possible memoir and my general book about autism. Alright. I don't know what to prioritize, because the customers are impatient as frick, but I also want to, which I can buy a doorbell, yeah, but I also want to invest in plate guides and some stuff for my shop. Yeah, I decided to move to this game because Papa's Hot Doggeria, I still want to release episodes, momentarily, but or from time to time, but oh my gosh, that game is the rate in which customers come in that game is, oh my goodness, it's excessive. And then you have to deal with the freshness feature as well. The good news is, this game doesn't have the freshness feature, because this game came before Papa's Hot Doggeria, and Papa's Hot Doggeria is when we got it for the first time. So, thank goodness. Plus, I don't think the customer volume is as bad in this game either, so this game can provide a more, what's the word? A smooth experience. Plus, this game is just unique in a way. I like having to figure out where to place everything on the plate, instead of just spreading toppings on top of each other evenly. You actually have to try to figure out where exactly the wings go on the plate. Sometimes it can be like a puzzle. Yeah, it keeps lightning. There's a lot of lightning outside. I may end this a little earlier than planned out of paranoia and caution, but for now we'll keep this going. Yeah, I will play some mini games because it'll help me get some items in my shop. Plus, we do get money from playing mini games, and I do want to make as much money as I possibly can. Yeah, see, we're doing pretty good on the fry sauce and build station. It's the waiting station that's setting us back because we don't have anything in our shop, so the waiting score will drop very rapidly. Yeah, like I said, I am curious about the trip, but like I said, I'm also apprehensive because it'll probably be a bit underwhelming. And I'm actually looking forward to getting back because I won't have to worry about another family trip, at least not for the foreseeable future. Alright, we'll play freeze putt. Oh, alright. Ace. Huh, I never heard that term before in golf or putt golf. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. And that's a par too, so it's either an ace, a par, or one of the bogeys. I've never been much of a golf person, but this game has taught me a lot about different, terms like par, like, bogey, par, birdie, which we just got, and then, an eagle is even better than a birdie, and then ace is the best one of them all. But yeah, like I said, I'm definitely gonna be doing another Miitopia episode when I get back from vacation, because that'll be a good time to, or a good way to talk about, you know, the family vacation and all that good stuff. Alright, hopefully we got, oh yeah, we did get this. And we got this. Yeah, it makes sense that we got Freezeria stuff, because that is a Freezeria themed game. I like how the prizes kind of correspond to the mini game. For example, the Burgerzilla mini game will probably get Burgeria themed items. Hopefully too, since we have Burgerzilla, we won't have JoJo's Burger Match. Because I have struggled so much with JoJo's Burger Match. Oh my goodness, that minigame is a nightmare. But yeah, and I'm pretty close to Valentine's Day in, like I said, in Papa's Pizzeria, in Papa's, you know, Deluxe, in Papa's Freezeria Deluxe, so I definitely want to get those recorded and premiered sometime before you head off to university. Green Ethan. Nice. Give me the perfects, because I need them. And yeah, as we get more and more items in the game, it'll definitely help us get 100% on the order station. And thus perfect scores. Because a lot of times we have been, we're getting hundreds on the fry, sauce, and build station, but just not on the order station. But as we get more items in our lobby, it'll be easier to do so, and then we can also get perfects. Because when you get 30 perfects, you do get a decent amount of money from the badges. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Today is Zolo Day, and his order is atrocious, let's just say, so. I mean, it's not like anything crazy, but it's just unique anyway. You probably know what I mean if you've played this game, but Green Ethan, I know you know. I'm just talking to my audience in general. Yeah, he orders 5 and 5 of an item. And he's the only one who does so in this game. Actually, no, not yet. Oh. Fuck me. Alright. Okay. What is going on? I don't know why I had an extra thing of 4 wings. But at least we have everything we need now. Solo, I have no idea how to perfect your order. Just order 4 wings or 6. Why doesn't the game give you a tutorial on how to perfect his order? It does so for the easier orders, even if you skip the initial tutorial, but for the more complicated ones, like that one, Alright, yeah. I have no idea what Gameria this would be linked to. Maybe Papa's Pizzeria. Or no, not Papa's Pizzeria. When pizzas attack, yes. Because it has nothing to do with pizza, but there are, like, doors involved. Not hallway hunt, but like each customer or 2 has, like, their apartment. So, yeah. Stop giving me shitty clothes. I want posters and furniture. Please. Yeah. At least with my grandma there. She'll, like I said, she'll probably try to, she'll probably, like, text my dad or call my dad. And get her or get him to do stuff. Because that did happen during the South Padre Island trip. Yes. Yeah, now Clover's gonna order 2 orders of wings. And yeah, having a booster will definitely help because I can speed things up. It'll help with customer flow as a whole. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yep, things are getting better. Slowly but surely. Okay, good. It's just a closer. Yeah, his order looks very light right now, but it definitely gets a lot heavier. Oh, nice. Heck yeah! Give me that money. Hopefully we can get a perfect day. If not in this part, then maybe in the next part. Next episode. Oh, not in this one. Ah, okay. Woo, close one. Yes! Nice. Oh, okay, alright. It's still in the beginning, but still, we did get a perfect day. Oh. Ah. This mini game. Oh well. It's not the worst one. Yes. Poster. I'm so happy this game doesn't have freshness. This will probably be a big help. Yeah, see now, since we have a pancake themed game, we're getting pancake themed posters and furniture. I don't think the mini games really do this anymore, especially now we have holidays. We usually just get holiday stuff now, but back then, the the furniture and posters were themed around the game areas. All right. So we have Greg and we have Clover. Sorry if I'm not really talking much about my personal. Well, not I don't want to say personal, but you know about my life. I just don't really have much to ramble about that I haven't already. But I'll talk about a theory I have, if you will. But you know, my dad and my grandma on my dad's side, you know, they're very strict and stern. And of course, my dad, you know, he probably gets it from her. But it makes me wonder what my biological grandfather was, you know, on my dad's side was like. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't want to meet him, but it does make me wonder if he was the same way. Because my dad and my grandma probably got it from him. And of course, you know, there's my dad's parents and my paternal grandma's parents too. So yeah, and then my dad tries to instill beliefs in me, but that I just don't agree with. I mean, I agree with them to some extent. I do, but at the same time, you know, my dad has never really been one to consider boundaries. And he uses the whole family excuse to invalidate my boundaries. Like, oh, families should do stuff together, which is a fair statement in itself. Or, oh, families do stuff for each other, which, again, a fair statement. But my dad uses these excuses to invalidate my boundaries. And that's when these excuses, or I won't say excuses, arguments. Yeah, that's a better word. Arguments. You know, and that's when these arguments become invalid. And, you know, that's a main area where my dad and I clash. Because he doesn't really believe in boundaries, but, you know, boundaries are really important to me. Which you know, again, neurotypical people have them too, but they're definitely a lot more noticeable in people who are neurodivergent. So yeah. Just something I've thought about lately. And then with my own mom, you know, she has forced beauty standards on me before, and then she uses my grandma on her side as an excuse. Thankfully, I've never had that issue with my grandma on my mom's side, or my dad's side for that matter, but you know, it just goes to show it just makes me think of the whole generational trauma stuff. Because kids do take after their parents, even when it comes to negative behavior. Whether, you know, they like it or not. Sometimes this stuff resonates with people, and sometimes it doesn't. Like, my mom, she grew up to like makeup and jewelry, but you know, she's tried to force it on me. You know, that's another thing with parents. Not all parents, but I feel like a lot of parents expect their children to be mini versions of themselves. And that's just not realistic. Okay, this is about the game itself, so we'll probably just get Wingeria themed items. Or a Houdini ticket. Like, there's also Spin and Sauce, but that's a taco game, never mind. That game is mainly Taco Mia themed. Or taco themed. So I wonder what game has the Wingeria items. Unless it's only the 5 previous games. And yeah, some you know, children will take after behavior from their parents even if it's not favorable, like harmful beliefs, lack of boundaries, and even abuse. Now, I'm not saying my parents are abusive. That's a very strong word, but I'm just, saying how even non-favorable behavior can be passed on from generation to generation. All right, so we'll buy there a booster and a fry alarm for the first column of fryers. All right, payday. Mango chili dip. And yeah, I might have mentioned this in my before in my previous videos, but that is a topic I want to explore in my possible parental guidance book. I want to talk about breaking free from generational trauma and understanding that your child may have boundaries that differ from your own. and how they may not always agree with your beliefs, religious or otherwise. But yeah, I do love my dad, but he can be very insensitive when it comes to certain stuff. Like, vacations, the dog situation, and yeah. And when I do say vacations, I'm not talking about New Mexico or Houston. I mean going halfway across the country. I can compromise on casual, brief, close to home family vacations. Just not the ones half ass across the country. I do one because I don't want when I if I do post that memoir, I definitely want to give detail. I don't want to be vague because that'll just cause confusion. I want people to know exactly how I struggle with change and stuff, and that will be something I talk about. I'm not going to say, "Oh, my parents are insensitive," but I will talk about my distaste for long vacations without throwing them under the bus. Alright, we have to enjoy enjoy Ninjoy's order while we can, because when we unlock shrimp, it is literally impossible to get 100% on the build station on her. I'll show you what I mean when we do finally get to that point. I think JoJo's next. Oh yeah, because today was payday, so it's day 7, and then JoJo always comes on day 8. For the first time. Nice. Nice. Another perfect day. All right. Rank 6. Oh, yep. Pizza Pachinkas. I knew this minigame was gonna be in this game, because yeah, go in the star. Stupid little ball. Because that's how we're gonna get our pizzeria themed lobby items. Now, I wouldn't place this minigame in the same tier as JoJo's Burger Match, but it's definitely a runner-up for the most rigged minigames. Or one of the most rigged minigames. I cannot stand this minigame, but I have to play it to get items and to get badges and to get money. Oh well, we'll just skip it for now. We'll wait till we get more tickets that we can burn through. Alright. And we also get money and badges for serving all of the closers and getting a blue ribbon from JoJo, so we're about to get another monetary boost after this day. Alright. See, it gives me a tutorial on these easier orders, but not on Zolos for some reason. It's very bizarre. I know I skipped the initial tutorial. I know a lot of you are thinking, but Shauna, you skipped the initial tutorial. I know that, but as you can see, it'll still give you guides when you serve certain orders for the first time. Because even the detailed plate guide doesn't help with the 5 item orders. Another thing, too, is people with autism and or ADHD do tend to struggle with executive dysfunction. And, you know, I haven't talked about this with my dad because I feel like he'll think I'm just making up an excuse, but that is something else I struggle with, particularly with thorough dental upkeep. So I'm definitely gonna cover that in my neurodivergent related books as well, if I ever do follow through with them. And of course, there's unrealistic expectations. That's something else I've also struggled with my dad. But yeah, I think I've talked about that before. not understanding the difference between wanting your child to succeed and placing unreasonable expectations on them. That's definitely something else I want to cover, and I want to help parents understand the difference between the two. Yeah, I talked about this in my in real life video that I made where I just talked to the camera. But a lot of parents do struggle to understand the difference between wanting your child to succeed and placing unrealistic expectations on them. Unfortunately, my dad does fall into the latter category. And then he uses the excuse that he's just trying to motivate me, but it doesn't. It just puts a bunch of extra stress on me. And guess what? Stress can actually demotivate a person. So you see, it's counterproductive in a sense. My main concern is my dad not taking my book seriously, but that's why I'm gonna try to not have him read it right away. Hopefully he doesn't discover it on his own, because my life will be over. Alright, no, it's... okay. You know what I mean. I don't mean literally. But, oh my goodness, it's gonna be a nightmare if he does. Alright, yeah, let's play some Burgerzilla. You know, that's the good thing about mini games is you can get lobby items from playing mini games, so you can invest your money into actual upgrades instead. Because during the pre-mini game days before Pancakeria, you had to balance your income between, shop upgrades and lobby decorations, which... Alright, I think the detailed grid is like 400... 90 cents. Oh, it's only 350. Thank goodness. I thought I was like 400. It was 450 and I was 10 freaking cents short. Alright. I'm not gonna premiere this, so I'm not really gonna care about how long this goes on. Yeah, that's another thing, with regular uploads. I'm not as worried about the length because I'm just uploading them directly. I'm not making a premiere out of setting them up to premiere first. Yeah, okay. Well, what I'll probably do next is I'll get another booster for the second column of Friars. That is going to be next on my list. Yes, I love having the detailed booster. It makes the wing arranging process a lot more smooth. Another book idea that I would like to explore in the future is a book about beauty standards. Because I feel like people don't understand the difference between wanting someone to look presentable and just forcing beauty standards on them. You know, my mom used to try to convince me that I should have to wear makeup or stylize my hair for people to take me seriously. I'm hoping she's getting away from that, but that is the message that she used to try to send me back in the day. And due to my sensory issues, I'm uncomfortable with having makeup put on me and having my hair stylized. But I can still brush my hair to make it look nice. I can wear nice clothes that are still comfortable. I can it's very possible for someone to make themselves comfortable while still looking presentable. And heck, this is thanks to a friend of Ashton's. I've talked with him a couple of times, but his name is Leo, and he brought up beauty pageants, and that got me thinking about a lot of stuff. I'm I don't support beauty pageants, to be honest, because I heard of, they can do a lot of harm to people. And it's like you're basically winning to be the most beautiful or the most presentable, and that can cause self-esteem issues to, let's say, the people who don't win. And I also heard people during beauty pageants are put on diets, and then some of them have body image issues. So yeah, beauty pageants would definitely be a big topic. I know my mom probably wouldn't agree with me, but whatever. I remember she threatened to take away my favorite video game, all because I didn't want to watch a beauty pageant with her. And that was before I knew the toxic. I don't know if that's the right word, but the ways beauty pageants can be harmful. I wasn't necessarily against them back then, but at the same time, they certainly weren't. My vein. Alright, so this is taco meat related. Yeah, this minigame is actually one of my strong suits. The so-and-so shot minigames. Woo! Close one. Alright. Not quite yet. Ooh, we should be getting closer to the perfect score stick or badge. I don't think we haven't got that yet. I don't believe. Now YouTube thinks I was frustrated yesterday. I wasn't frustrated, I just thought the misunderstanding was funny. Oh boy. YouTube. Ooh! The first one today. Nice. And yeah, please don't make any mistake. My dad can be a cool and awesome guy. I just think he can definitely be overly serious and set in his ways a little bit. That's another that's another area where we clash. He can be pretty serious, and I'm a lot more chill and laid back. Now, there is a time and a place to be serious, don't get me wrong. But people who are just serious all the time by default, and yeah, that's. I tend to clash with people like that. And don't worry, my dad hasn't been this far, but people also weaponize age. People who are silly and chill and goofy often have their age used against them if they are an adult. I've been a victim of that by, like I said, not my dad, or anyone in my family, but just by other people. My grandma has used my age against me before on my dad's side, but it was for a different reason. It was because if I remember correctly, it was because I struggle with organization. It drives my dad crazy as well. Like even when he comes into my room and I'm like slightly unorganized, it drives him insane because he's an organization freak and I struggle with organization. I feel like my dad does have OCD symptoms, whereas I have ADHD symptoms. I'm not trying to diagnose us, don't worry. I'm just saying we deal with symptoms. And I do suspect that I do have ADHD. Alright, I think we unlocked Taylor. I think he's our next filler customer. And I think we also have enough for a second booster. Alright, I'll buy a second booster. And I'll buy a radio. We're doing pretty good on the waiting score. We got a perfect day just now, but a little. Yep, I was right, Taylor. A little extra help never hurt no one. Yeah, this will probably be the last day. Then I'll end it off. But yeah, this definitely seems to be a lot more low key than Papa's Hot Doggeria. Plus, I just find playing this game satisfying. Perfecting the wing arrangements can be nice, can be a fun activity. So I'll probably focus on this a lot more than Papa's Hot Doggeria. Nice. Always good to see a 4-star customer. Unfortunately, though, I don't think we're gonna get a perfect day today because today is Zolo Day. Yeah, Papa's Wingeria Deluxe is gonna be fun. It'll have all the bells and whistles, you know, the modern hot features, but it'll also be on a bigger screen. That's why the deluxe games are my favorite. Because they're both on a bigger screen and have all the modern features. Zolo. See, this is why I like having the booster, because we can speed up the orders when that's the only thing we can do. And it can help with the waiting score in the long run, too. All right, I'll try to get perfect this as much as I can. I think there have been a couple of times where I have gotten perfect on his order, but it is rare. Rare, 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 rare. Yeah. See, why don't we have a freaking guide for the first time we serve solo. Come on! So yeah, we did get 100% service quality, but I'm not going to count it as a perfect day unless we actually get a perfect score on all of the customers. Alright. I'm gonna end it off right here, but I do want to see what we unlock next. Ooh, Scooter. Alright. And I think after Scooter, we will unlock Robbie, so we'll get to serve him for the first time in the next episode. I will see you guys later. Bye.